wish I had taken the drawing down. If I had, maybe I would have noticed sooner. Maybe Max would still be here. At the time, it just looked like another child's drawing, taped to the fridge with a crooked magnet. But now, when I think about it, that picture feels like a warning I didn't understand. It was early Saturday morning. The house was quiet in that soft, empty way it gets before everyone wakes up. I was making coffee when I saw it. The drawing wasn't cute. The figure was small, about the size of a child, but its body was wrong. The skin was shaded gray. The eyes were sunken and tired. The mouth was stretched too wide, frozen somewhere between smiling and showing teeth. The figure was sitting inside something narrow, a tunnel. It felt like it was staring directly at me. When Caitlin came downstairs, I asked her about it. She barely looked. It's just one of Max's drawings. Max was her 7-year-old son. I'd been part of his life for a while now, long enough that he followed me around the house, asked me questions, trusted me. I liked to believe he saw me as a father figure, and maybe I wanted that more than I should have. Max loved to draw. Most of his pictures were harmless, animals, superheroes, messy stick figures. But this wasn't the first time I'd seen this one. The gray child showed up again and again. Later, while the smell of burnt toast filled the kitchen, I studied the drawing more closely. What bothered me wasn't the creature, it was the space around it. The background didn't look like a room. It felt deep, tight, like it went somewhere. We mentioned the drawings at Max's school meeting. His teacher laughed it off. "Some kids just like creepy stuff," she said. "As long as he's sleeping fine, there's nothing to worry about." And she was right. Max slept well, he laughed easily, he wasn't afraid of the dark. At least, not that we could see. I asked him once if anyone ever scared him, if anyone made him uncomfortable. He just looked confused and shook his head. Christmas came and went. My sister Leah flew in to visit. For a while, I stopped thinking about the drawings, until the drive back from the airport. We passed an old building along the highway, windowless, gray, abandoned. I sighed. It's sad places like that shut down. Kids don't have anywhere like that anymore. Leah laughed, but not kindly. "I can't believe you can even look at that place." I glanced at her. "What do you mean?" She stared at me. "You really don't remember?" My stomach dropped. She told me we used to go there all the time as kids. I loved it. I said I had friends there. Friends who never went home. Police interviews, missing children, the place shutting down shortly after. And me, somehow untouched by it all. That night, I dreamed of plastic tunnels and bright colors swallowed by darkness. And in the dream, I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't alone. A few nights later, I heard a sound in the kitchen. Plastic scraping against tile. The cabinet under the sink was open. Cleaning supplies were scattered across the floor. "Max," I whispered. A small hand reached out from the darkness. I jumped back. Max crawled out, wide-eyed. "Just playing," he said. That same night, something finally clicked. Not all at once, slowly. I remembered being 7, inside the play place, chasing a toy through padded tunnels. I remembered 2 other kids, and I remembered the tunnel that didn't belong. It was white, too clean, too bright. The noise disappeared when we went inside. The paths changed. The way back didn't exist anymore. A black plastic ball rolled towards us from the dark. Then nothing. The memory stopped there. And now Max was drawing the same thing. That night, I came home to silence. Max's room was torn apart. His closet stood open, clothes pushed aside like something had passed through them. Caitlin was crying. Max was gone. And I knew where he had gone. I waited until Caitlin fell asleep. Then I drove to the abandoned building. The place felt smaller than I remembered, emptier. But standing there, I could still smell it. Old plastic, dust, something sour underneath. I cut through a service door and went inside. The play structures were still there, broken, collapsed, sad. Except for one slide. Black, smooth, untouched. I tied a rope and climbed down. I fell longer than I should have. When I landed, everything was clean, perfect. Red foam pillars, white tunnels, trampolines that looked brand new. This was the place beneath the place. I called Max's name. Something answered. A boy stood nearby, gray skin, familiar face, stretched wrong. "I got in trouble for letting you leave," he said calmly. More shapes crawled out of the tunnels. Children. Not children. I tried to run. I fell. And when I stood up again, my hands weren't mine anymore. I remembered everything. I remembered waking up here as a child. I remembered something else going back wearing my face. A replacement. A trade. This place didn't take children. It kept them. And now Max stood in front of me, shaking and scared. "I'm still me," I told him, though my voice didn't sound human anymore. I lifted him onto my shoulders and climbed. At the top, I couldn't go any farther. I handed him my bag. "There's a phone inside. Call for help." He looked at me. "What about you?" I didn't answer. I watched Max disappear. The tunnels shifted. The eyes above blinked open. Time here didn't move forward. It wore things down, even memories. Somewhere above, Max would grow up believing he escaped something terrible. Somewhere below, I would stay to make sure the paths opened only when they were meant to. The tunnels don't take what they want.